Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the newly released HG Alus Earthree Gundam. So basically what the Alus Earthree Gundam is basically a evil version slash copy version of the original Core slash Earthree Gundam, and it recently made an appearance in the recent series of Build Divers Re-Rise Season 2. Now this kit in Korea released yesterday, and I believe other countries like China or Japan released it on Friday, as far as I can tell. So anyway, this review is going to be a part 3 review, or 3-part review. Basically, on part 1, I'll be talking about the Alus Core Gundam, which you see in the middle, and on part 2, I'll be focusing on the Alus Earthree Armor pack right over there. So any armor pieces will be mentioned in part 2. And on part 3, I'll be going over the basic articulation of the armor combined version with the Core Gundam, meaning that on part 3, I'll be going over the Alus Earthree Gundam. So that's how it's going to be. So basically the same format as how I reviewed the first original HG Earthree Gundam. So yeah, and if you're wondering why this thing is out here, it's basically to do some comparisons, because I was kind of surprised on a few aspects regarding this kit. Alright, so before we start the review, now let's go over some components. So, on the basics, so what we get is obviously the Alus Core Gundam. So Alus is basically the final naked evil guy who saw in the first on season 1, who shot the cannon from the moon. So yeah, he's Alus, and he's basically made this mobile suit based on the Core Gundam. Okay, so hand-wise, we get two set of hands, meaning that there's 4 hands. So number 1 is we get 2 multi-purpose hands, which you see on the right arm, and then 2 open hands that you see on the left arm. The rest of the hands can be stored on the armor pack right over here. So there's 2 holes. So I'm currently using the open hand and the multi-purpose hand that I'm not using. And as you can see on the top, there are 2 more holes, like one on here and the other one there. So this is where you can store in the other hand. So if you have like 4 hands, you can store that there. Of course, that also brings to the downside is that they only give you 2 of these hand guards. So you have to really, if you have to use a different hand, you have to swap those parts out. So that's one downside, if you ask me. Other than that, we get so anything else is basically here. We have the armor stuff. So the armor pack's right over here. The big cannon for the Alus Earthree Gundam is there, and then here we have this part, which technically this should not be seen. And if you've seen the anime, this part should not have been actually here. What this is basically the beam saber effect part, but instead of having a beam saber hilt, they made a beam saber part that's molded into the hand. So because in the anime, if you've seen it, is that his hands can become a beam weapon like this, and you can see the fingers. Which brings up to the other weapon. Is basically the same beam rifle or beam gun as the Core Gundam, but in a different color. And I believe the sticker is now purple instead of being a bluish green color. So yeah, I believe this is the exact same weapon as the Core Gundam's version. So yeah, it's exactly the same, different color and different sticker color. And then here we finally have the sticker sheet. Here is the sticker sheet. So as you can see, I did not use everything, but I will go over which one is which. So number 1, the one I did not use is number 22. What this sticker is basically now they tell you to put. Now this is basically a sticker for the handguard. So they tell you to put the sticker here and wrap it around. Once again, I'm not a big fan of such things, so I did not use that. So honestly, and I think it looks better without it. So that's that. And then here we have some stickers I used all over the place. So there are some stickers for the heads, there are stickers for the chests, and all over the place. So I'll point out where those stickers are supposed to go one by one when we actually get to that part. Now you may have noticed there's 2 set of stickers that are exactly the same but in different color. One, the set that I use are red. The other set I did not use is purple. So I was wondering what this means. So I was thinking of if there another like mass production type variant coming out, but no. The thing is that if you use the red one, or at least the red sticker that goes inside the head right over here, inside or behind the clear visor, and then on the face vent parts, what this means, if red means is that Alus is directly controlling the unit. If it's purple, meaning it's just being a different AI controlling it. So yeah, that's the only difference. So if you want to go with the Alus version, go with this. If you want to have like a typical drone mass production type, grunt unit enemy, you want to go for the purple stickers. So that's that. And all these other parts go all over the place, like mostly on the armor. So yeah. Alright, so we've seen the basics. Now let's go over some leftover parts. Yes, there are actually some leftover parts. So number one is some leftover polycaps. Here we have some leftover polycaps, nothing too special. We always have at least one or two of them or more leftover parts. Nothing too special. And this plate. So the Alus Core Gundam actually shares a good amount of parts with the Core Gundam parts. Most of this part should be like consistent of the joints and feet. So here we'll go one by one. So here we have the Core Gundam parts. So a lot of joints here for the feet, I believe. Once again, more parts. This is, I believe, is the actual feet of the Core Gundam. And then here we have the actual original hands of the Core Gundam. And here we have the chest section of the Core Gundam. And then we have a half of the shield part. And once again, more connecting points for the Core Gundam. So, yeah, not too much, but also a good amount. And shows a lot of evidence that this Alus Core Gundam actually shares a good amount of parts with the Core Gundam. Okay, I'm going to get it off the stand and let's see what we got. So, before we go over articulation, let's go over some size comparisons. So yeah, as you can see, there is a good amount of height comparisons, but I think it's just mostly because of the feet. So, because the feet is not your typical, flat feet, it's just one of those high heel claw type feet, which gives it an extra height. But yeah, so if we actually went on with the same like height like this, if it was a normal feet, I think we'd be having like a similar height around that area. So yeah. Oops, sorry. So I think that's enough for the comparisons. Actually, for the back, you can see they share a good amount for the backpack. Instead of having beam sabers, this thing has some spikes. This part should be the same. Even this section is the same part as far as I can tell. So I think that's enough for the Core Gundam for now. Let's go over some articulation. Alright, so number one is the head. The head, I definitely love the head, especially the fact that they're using clear purple parts, and on the top they have a piece here, and then behind that is a round red mono-eye type or sensor type sticker. Definitely loving that look on it. Honestly, if you went with the purple version, I'm not sure it would be too visible because how the color is. And then here we have two more red stickers on the head, nothing too special. No back head camera, by the way, so head can go down that much, up that much. 360 twist is possible because we have a polycap ball joint, and that's pretty much it for the head. The shoulders pretty much work the same as the Core Gundam, where you can actually pop it out, but this is actually meant for the combination with the armor parts, but still the same basic format of the main connection being a ball joint for the shoulders, so we can go about up this much. And then the arm itself has a 360 twist, and then 360 twist on the entire arm is also possible, and being on a ball joint, it has some forward and backward movement. Very nice. And double jointed bend is also possible. And hands are your typical ball jointed hands, and I believe some people were confused why this thing already has the arm guards combined. So you are technically able to pull this out, but it's not really ideal. So here it is. So we do have like a short arm version. So if you want to attach the other, like let's say Core Gundam's parts, the arm parts, you have to take that off and then replace it. So you do actually have a short armor version inside there as well. So yeah. Of course, it is kind of tricky to figure out which part is which, so hopefully I got this correct. Alright, and then let's look at the body. The body is pretty much your same body type. No real ab crunch, but we can twist this side to side and go 360, which I'm kind of surprised. But of course, I kind of forced it. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but it almost knocked off the front armor part as well. Now here we have the backpack, as I mentioned, same part except for beam series. We have these parts. Now these parts will be moving a lot. You're going to be touching them a lot. So sometimes you'll notice that these parts are going to be like in front of here because you accidentally touched it. So yeah, just be careful about that. And then the leg parts, we have the pretty much same construction style. So we have the legs can go back that much, forward that much. So 90 degrees up front, 90 degrees back. And then to the side, almost 90 degrees, just that the design does not allow it to go fully 90 degrees. And then we have a nice bend going on here. And then we have the feet where Once again, this is the part that you're going to need to use to, because not being flat feet, at first you're going to have some trouble balancing this kit, but still, once you get used to it, it's fine. So we have the claw style feet, and you can close it up if you want to do so, but this is mostly for the combination. So the first part is that we have a nice movement going on here on the feet. We have this forward and backward movement going on the feet, and then we have another connection here which allows it to have a nice pivot going on here. And as you can see, there is the connecting point for the legs. So yeah. Alright, we've seen the basic articulation of the kit now, or at least for the Alus Core Gundam. Let's see what we got for the equipment specifically for the Alus Core Gundam. Is number one, as I mentioned, is the beam saber effect part, or beam hand effect part. So this is pretty cool. Purple, and I believe this type of color is not too common in kits these days. So number one, the good part about this is that this can be used on either side. There's no left and right indication for this one. So all you need to do is just pretty much plug it in, and you're good to go. Of course, just make sure the empty side is on the inside. So yeah. They're very long, so yeah, this can be a very fun equipment as well. And then number two is the basic Core Gundam's beam rifle or beam gun, so nothing too special, just pretty much works as your typical gun. Alright, so that's pretty much it. And if you're wondering, yes, the front skirt here is technically a single piece, but it also has the connected ball joint, so if you want to divide them, that's good. You can do that as well. So yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for the Alus Core Gundam. So on part 1, as I mentioned, we talked about the Alus Core Gundam. Definitely, because of those extra feet, it definitely looks much more taller than the original Core Gundam, and I think a lot of people might enjoy this design more because of the color scheme and concept. So yeah. Anyway, so that was part 1, and on part 2, we will be talking about the Earth Armor part. Sorry about that, the Earth Armor pack. For the Alus Core Gundam, and also we'll be doing some comparisons with the original armor parts as well. So once again, that was part 1, and stay tuned for part 2, so I'll be right back.